Hi guys, my name is Mayor PS65, back again with another video. Like I promised yesterday that I'll be making a follow-up today with another video, a follow-up on what we discussed yesterday. Yesterday was more of, should I say, the last video was more of an introduction in what we'll be talking about, which is mental health issues, is pertaining on the impact of working with mental health individuals. I wouldn't like to say patient, but I'll say individuals. So the impact of working with individuals with mental health. Usually, like I said, there is no focus on the impact in staff or workers' mental health. How are they affected? Are they affected by working in the mental health sector, which is a very big yes, they are affected in any way. They are really, really affected. They may not show it, but they are really affected because you're working in a very challenging situation. I'll give you an example. Like let's say you're working in in a hospital where the service users are challenging, which means they are violent and aggressive. Not okay, I will rephrase that. They are not aggressive or violent, but they are presenting behaviors which are violent and aggressive. Sorry for me saying they're aggressive. They're not aggressive. They are presenting behaviors which are violent and aggressive towards staff. You come to work and face that day in and day out. But because that's your work, you are committed to it, you have to endure that. By violent, I mean you can be beaten, head battered, get feces thrown to your face, spat at, kicked, insulted, all the things which you can imagine which are violent or aggressive. You can find that with individuals who are challenged, mentally challenged, where we have mental health issues and present behaviors of concern. They present behaviors of consent. Your job is to make sure you de-escalate them in a way that they may not cause any harm to themselves or to others, which means you are putting yourself on the forefront to be the one who makes sure they do not escalate with whatever violence they are presenting. So your job is actual making sure you're doing an extra job. How can I put it? Help me there on the comment if you can help me. You are taking an extra responsibility of trying to make sure the person who is presenting these behaviors is taken back to a level where he's comfortable and not presenting any harm to himself or the others. Your mental health has to be sharp for you to be able to endure those things. Imagine you are working with an individual who is non-verbal, with autism and learning disability. They cannot communicate with you what they want at that given moment, because they cannot utter any word. They're non-verbal. But they want something which you don't know that they need that thing. And the only way they can present their need is to attack you. You have to now try and find out through the attack what their what's behind the attack, what do they need. But you're being attacked, you're being punched, your nose is bleeding. But you, as a worker, you still need to find out what was the cause for that person to punch me. That's why I said yesterday, your attitude towards your work should be different. Working in the mental health sector is an extra job. I was so disappointed when during the COVID time, where more emphasis or more focus was always put on the nurses and the doctors as frontline workers, and we used to. There's some nights where people go out and clap their hands for the nurses and the doctors, but I think we should be clapping our hands every day for people who work in the mental health sector, because these guys, they go through a lot. They go through a lot, especially those who work with severe learning disability individuals or severe autistic individuals, where their communication to communicate their needs, they have to present a behavior. And most of the time, until there is something put in place to counteract that, most of the time, the behavior is either violent or aggression. That we cannot walk away from. That's what happened. Someone will pick a chair and throw it in your face. Someone will pick anything which is pickable. That's why you find in most institutes or places, residents, where someone is present challenging behaviors, everything, their beds, their drawers, everything is attached to the wall. That means they cannot be moved. Why? Because they can easily pick that and throw it at your face. These are things which most of the workers in the health sector face day in, day out. Those who work with most challenging individuals. So how can we support people like that? Before I go in there, let me just give you a scenario. You know, when you're working with challenging individuals, the moment you wake up from home, you sit on your bed, you start thinking, oh, there it goes again. Am I really going to work to face what you face every day? But because you are committed, you come to work. Your mind already, the moment you step in that place, your mind switches to alert. That's not normal. It's extra normal. Your mind is alert, because every day is a different day. No matter how much you know the individual, every day is a different day. You may do something which you think this is the norm. We've been doing this for a long time, but again, an aggressive behavior happens. These are true stories which happen in most mental health hospitals, where staff are faced with challenging behaviors. And when we say challenging behaviors, they challenge your behavior yourself. They challenge your mental health yourself. They challenge how you react to it. I know in most places there are some things which are put in place. um, like uh, positive behavior support plans, how to counteract a behavior. But most of the time, those people working in the health sector will agree with me. Most of the time, the people who set these things are not the people who work hands on with the people, with these individuals. I'm talking about people like psychologists, speech and language therapists, the MDT, multidisciplinary. They come together, they have a meeting, and then they plan and put down a positive behavior support plan without involving the support staff who work with the individual day in, day out. Day in, day out. That's why I'm saying at the end of the day, the guys who are on the forefront are the ones who are mentally impacted or mentally affected, because they have to dig right down in their souls or in their brain, whatever they use, to try and support the individual no matter what presentation they are presenting. I'll give you an example. We'll call this lady Mary B. Mary B was a worker, a support worker in one of the institutes, or let's say a hospital, a mental health hospital. She became pregnant and she had to go for a maternity leave, which is okay. So she went to maternity leave, gave birth to a lovely, bubbly young boy. And within 3 weeks, she lost the baby. 3 weeks after giving birth, she lost the baby. And that was her first child. That was their first child with her husband. That was their first child. She lost the child in 3 weeks. What is it to do with mental health? I'm going there. You listen. She stayed at home, heartbroken, grieving. It was so painful. It's so painful losing a child, not even a child, even anyone, a relative, so painful losing them. But she stayed at home for some months. She couldn't face herself coming back to work, because that thing hurt her. Until one day she decided, how long will I stay at home? How long will I grieve for my son, for my child? I may as well go back to work and try and pick up my life where I left it. So she called the company and said, I'm coming back to work. Right on her first day, when she came back, everyone was concerned about her. Everyone wanted to know what happened, because she hasn't been to work for a long time. So people were asking her, oh, what happened? What happened? How long? Why were you away? And then she began to explain to the staff about how she gave birth, how joyful they were. They were so happy. But within 3 weeks, the child passed away. And everyone was like, oh, we're sorry. So she mentioned that she couldn't come to work because she'd been grieving for a long time. She couldn't find in her to come to work. But she had now put into her mind that, until when should I stay at home? Let me just go to work and try and pick up my life where I left it. While she was narrating all this, she didn't know that one of the service user or individual within the service we had a mental health condition, learning disability and autism, and severe learning disability and autism. And this guy was very vocal, and very verbal. He could hear every single thing they were talking about. So during the day, the lady was observing this gentleman. When the gentleman asked her to go to the kitchen and get something for him, which he knew exactly that it wasn't there. When the lady went to the kitchen and couldn't find what the gentleman wanted, she came back and informed the individual that what he wanted was not there. Can she offer something different? The guy insisted that he wanted what he wanted, and the lady emphasized to him that we didn't have what you want. And the individual now started insulting the lady. You filthy old woman. That's why your child died, because he couldn't bear you being its mother. Your baby is rotting, blah, 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 blah. He went on to be XXX. Some of the things I cannot say in this video because they were really, really bad. Imagine you just came back to work thinking maybe I may take my mind away from this which has happened to my family. Maybe at work I may find some peace when I interact with other people, when I serve and care for these individuals. But then one of the individuals insults you about your own child. The woman tried to stand and be strong, but the guy went on and on. She just broke down. She was upstairs in the first floor. He just broke down, ran downstairs, straight to a car, and drove away. Why am I telling you this story? I just want to emphasize to you so that you may see what I mean by the impact of working in a mental health. The individual didn't mean to hurt her, but he knew that if he say these things, it's either she will be disappointed to the extent that she will just go and get something for him so she can give him so he can be quiet. But the words which he said really hurt the lady. That was the last day they ever saw the lady in that hospital. She never came back. Why? Because her mental health was affected by few words mentioned by this individual. It doesn't mean she was the first one. There are a lot of staff which have been insulted by the same individual, but they still worked with him. But again, it depends with your mental state. So what I'm trying to say is most of the companies, most of the hospitals, they don't put something in place to counteract that. We have something which they call debriefing. So after an incident, the manager is supposed to take staff, sit down with them, reflect on what happened. I'm not saying everyone doesn't do it. Maybe there are some places where they do, but I know that's probably 75% they don't do that. After an incident where you've been punched or you've been kicked, mostly manager will come to the staff and say, "Are you all right?" Which is a closed question. Are you all right? When someone asks you, are you all right? It's either you give them a yes or a no. Imagine you've been hurt. You've been head-butted, you got blood on your nose, and someone is just coming in asking you, are you all right? Most of the people, because of frustration, they'll say, oh yeah, I'm okay. And that's it. That's the briefing is done. Yeah. When they write their incident form, they say staff debriefed, but there's no debriefing. They don't know what you are going through in your mind at that moment. But there's nothing you can do. That's part of your job. It's different from being insulted or attacked by someone out there at nightclub, which you can defend yourself. But this is a job you need to do. There's nothing you can do. You still need to be professional. But your mind is affected. Your mental health is affected. You need something to counteract that. You need something to counteract that. But at the moment, there's nothing most of these hospitals or institutes provide to staff. You now take that frustration to wherever you go after work. That's another thing we'll discuss. I don't want to preempt everything, but what I'm trying to say is there is always an element of mental health impactation when you deal with people who present challenging behaviors or behaviors of consent. It will affect your behavior. I'll be giving you more examples of situations where your mental health is challenged. I gave you an example that when you are about to leave home, you begin to think about it. You are not thinking about something positive, but you're thinking, how am I going to deal with that negative situation? Because you know very well that you're going to face an incident, you're going to face behaviors of consent, aggressiveness, or violence. But you need to make sure your mind is set for that situation. So the art of setting your mind is what people are not being trained in. You have to use your own, to understand, you have to use your own, what the word I can use, your own means of coping with the situation. You have to use your own means of coping with the situation, which means you are the safeguarder of your mental health. Tomorrow we'll continue with the video. I'll give you more examples of how the behaviors of people who are in these sectors impact on staff. The behaviors impact on staff and how you can try and manage them. Again, we said the attitude. Yesterday we spoke about the attitude. Attitude is the key. Knowing very well that this is my job. I'm here to support the individual, not to fight, not to fight the individual, but to support them, to prevent them harming themselves or harming others. So we need to find what things are there in place which you can use to support your mental health and also make sure the person you are supporting, they live a fullness of life. Please don't forget to subscribe on my videos. Call a friend and tell a friend to tell a friend that subscribe to my videos so we may learn together. Like I said again, please leave some comments so I may know whether these videos are helping you, which areas you want us to discuss, especially pertaining with mental health workers, people who work with people in the sector. subscribe, like, watch the videos to the end, and share with others. The more we are, the better. So tomorrow, another video is coming. Don't forget to subscribe and watch the video so we may learn together. There are more things we can talk about, especially with mental health. As you see, today I'm at home and this is the night time. I'll be going to bed very soon to make sure my mental health is stable for another day tomorrow as we face a new day. Stay blessed. Take care. Bye.